Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In this video, we are going to be looking at these all important functions in Microsoft Excel. First, we are going to look at the sum function. Sum function one. So this function adds up a range of cells in Microsoft Excel. It can be vertically, it can be horizontally. Let's have an example of this sum function. So I'll have, let's say I have a number here, 30, then 50. Let's say any number, you can have any number. So I have 30. So I'll say equal to sum. That's how to create that's to use the how to use the sum function. So I'll say this. I'll just select, I can select the range, then close my bracket, so it will automatically sum it for me. That's one way to use the sum function. We can also use the sum function by directly entering the number. We're using it vertically and horizontally, so the number can be in any form, either going up or coming down. So I can have series of numbers coming down like this. Then I can sum it using the sum function. So I say equal to sum equal to, then I'll just select the range of cell. Remember the first one we did, we selected it the other way around, so I'll just close it. So you see now, so it will sum it for me. So however you are using it, it will sum it for you. Also, you can use the sum function like this. Say sum, then I have the numbers I want to sum inside this bracket, so I'll just separate them by the comma. So I'll separate them by comma, just like that. Then you close your bracket, you see it's summed for you. So this number has been summed for you. Okay, how about if we have something like let's have this one as scarcity. So let's sum these two cells and see what we get. So I'll say again, I'll create our function sum. This is sum, so I'll open, then I select the range of cell, I'll select both, then I'll close this thing, I'll close it up. So I still get 30. This is to tell you that this sum function only recognize numbers. It only recognize numbers. But there is a function in Microsoft Excel that joins strings and return them as a single string, as in join numbers, and you can join numbers and can join them all together. Let's have an example. This function in Microsoft Excel is called the concatenate function. Concatenate function. So we say concatenate. So this function, you see, say join several text strings into one text string. So this is the function that joins several text string into one text string. So let's use this function now and let's see. So I'll delete this. Let's say I'll have a name here. Let's say Olivia. Let's say 10. Okay. Cassidy. Let's say 12. Now, okay. So you see, let's create a function now. This is equal to concatenate. So I'll open my bracket. This cell, I'll have it as comma. Then I'll select the one I want to concatenate. Then I'll say comma. Then okay. So I can just end here. Let's see how it works. So you see Olivia 10. You are seeing Olivia 10. So this thing has been joined together. So, but if you notice something, you see that it's it's a kind of compacted. So we can separate this by using our quotation mark. So I'll just put a quotation mark here, half a space, and close it. So I can close it, so you can see it's better off say Olivia 10. So I can still even add other things. So let's say Olivia Olivia, Ave- comma. Since we have a space there, so I will just put whatever I want inside, then a comma, then I can have another space to make it readable. So I'll close it. So you see, it now reads Olivia is 10. So on your own, what I want you to do is just try on your own and add while while Cassidy is 12. So you just try and make a sentence like that. Olivia is 10 while Cassidy is 12. It's quite easy. If you're having issue, you can drop your comment in the comment section below and I will sort it out. Let's move on to the next function. The next function we are going to be looking at is the if function, the if function in Excel. This function check if a given condition is met and return a value if it's true and another value if it's false. So let's have an example here. Example, let's have a list, let's say pencil. Now, we want to check if we want to see if you are using pencil, then you are still in kg. Otherwise, if you're not using pencil, then you have left kg, you're now in secondary. So what we'll do is I'll use this if function. For an example, I'll say equal to if open my brackets. Let's say b1, this b2, cell b2. So I'll select the cell. If this cell is equal to, let's say pencil as it is, let's put pencil, I'll close it. Then you are in kg. Let's okay kg. Or you are now in secondary school, you have graduated. So if there's any other condition, you are no longer in kg. So I say secondary, secondary, secondary. So I'll close it. So now it's still in pencil. So we see this guy is still in kg. So I can extend it to see, you see, this guy is no longer using pencil, is now in secondary. So it's no longer using pencil, is now in secondary. So anything else, if it's not pencil, so it's regarded as you are no longer in kg. Now this function, I can also define it in another way around. Let's see another example of this if function. If function. Let's say I have okay, let's take it as a transaction. As a transaction, let's say successful transaction and a declined transaction. Let's look at the situation whereby if you withdraw 50,000 naira a day, it's okay. But anything above 50,000 naira, you have exceeded your transaction limit. So let's say it. So now I can create my function. So I say equal to if I open this bracket, open my bracket, this cell here A2, so I'll click cell A2. If cell A2 is less than or equal to, is less than or equal to 50,000, 50,000, 1, 2, 3, then I'll say sources. I'll say sources. Then, or if it's not anything other than 50,000 naira, less than or equal to 50,000 naira is declined. That is to say anything above 50,000 naira, the transaction is declined. So you are seeing sources now because we don't have any number here. So by the time I put, maybe let's say I put 60,000 naira, 60,000 or any number above 50,000, you see it decline. Let's try 45. So you see sources. So let's look at, let's say 550 decline because it's above 50. So that's how to use the if function. So the next function we are going to be looking at is the sum if function. Sum if. This is the function we are going to be looking at. Now, this function adds the cell specified by a given condition. Let's have an example of this function. Let's have types of phone. Let's have Samsung, some Samsung. Okay, so we have a number now. So let's look at the sum if function in action here. So I will not say, let's look at equal to, as it is in every function in Excel. So we use our equal to. So I'll open a bracket. You see, now I'll select the range of cells I want. If, okay, sorry, I'm using sum if. We are using sum if now. Sum if. So we are checking for condition. This is the range of cell. Okay, let's see the criteria. Then this is the criteria. If it's Samsung, then look at, then if it's Samsung, let's get result from this row, this range. So I'll close it. So now what we basically did here is look look at this table, pick all Samsung and sum them for me. That's what we did now. Say, let's look at it. Sum if this range of table, look for Samsung, look for Samsung and sum it for us. So this is the range of the table, which is B2 to B11. Then what's the criteria? The Samsung. We are looking for Samsung, which is in B2. So now the where are we looking at this? We are looking at this at from C2 to C11. So this is the range. This is what you have here. This is what we basically did here. This also can be done in, I can specify it so that I would not have to be, I can just give the condition in a given cell. Let's look at what I'm saying. Now I'll say equal to, when I have my equal sign, so I say sum. I'll open my bracket. Sum if, I'm sorry. So I'll say sum if. Then I'm giving the range. Say comma, then I'll click this cell. So I'm defining this cell, that whatever is in this cell is what you are going to be picking and summing those ones for me. So I'll use my comma. So where are we getting the sum from? This range. So I'll close my comma, bracket. I'll close my bracket and say enter. Now it's 0 because we don't have any type of phone there. So what I'm going to be doing, let's try Nokia. Let's see how many Nokia we have in this list. So I'll say Nokia. So we have all together, we have Nokia, 106 Nokias in this table here. Okay, let's try another phone. Which other phone? Infinix. So we have 73 Infinix in this row. Now, the next function we are going to be looking at is the drop down list. So it's drop down list, drop down. Let's see, drop down list. This is what we are going to be looking at in the next function. I don't have to delete this because we're going to use this one as an example. So I will look at this. If you look at this one, I can keep doing this. So I can keep doing this. Look for Techno, then I see the number of Techno. Then I look for Infinix. Okay, so Infinix. So you have the number of Infinix there. Let's check. We have 1 and 2 here. So let's check. We can use our sum to check. Equal to sum. What do we have here? We have Infinix. Number 1 is 52. Then we have comma. Do we have another Infinix? So we have another Infinix 15. So make it together. So we get 73. So our calculation is correct. So now I can keep changing phone here, changing the type of phone. But why do that when I have easier way to do it? Now excel have another function that will make life a whole lot easier for you. What's that function? Is that drop down list. So I can create a drop down list from this table here. So what I'll do is I just go, I'll select the cell I want the drop down list to appear. Then I'll go to my data tab. So I'll click on this tab. I'll click on data validation. Data validation. What do I want? I want a list. So I'll click create a list. Now from this list, let me select the source. Where am I getting this list from? Is from this table here. So I want this thing listed in my drop down list. See? So I'll say this one. Then I now say okay. Okay, if you look at this drop down now, you see that all the list is here already. So I can either pick any phone, then I'll get the number of phone present here. You see, so if I click on this one, I can just get the number of this thing. I hope you guys understand. But if you're having any issue, you can drop your comment in the comment section and I will do as much as I can to make you understand. Let's move over to the next function we have. We are going to the next function, which is count. We are going to count. So count. We are looking at various count function. Looking at various count functions. So we have count. I think we have another function counter. We have another function count. Count blank. Okay, count blank. Okay. Then another one count if. Count if. Count if. You know, this one given a condition, you can only count if you meet up this specific condition. That is the count if. So let's get into it. Let's look at the count function. Now I'm looking at, I want to count the number. The count function now can only count the number of cells that have numbers inside. Note it, number of cells that have numbers. Let's see. Now I want to count equal to count. Let's have the count function. So let's look at it. It says count the number of cells in a range that contains numbers only. So let's see how it works. Now I'll say this range of cell from cell B2 through C11. So this is what we have. You see now we're having 10, but in actual sense it's not only 10 cells I selected, but it's picking the cells that has numbers. Okay, let's look at another function now. I'll say counter. Let's look at another function, which is the counter function. So I'll say equal to count a. So I'll open it, say count the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So I will look at it. Let's open this and we count. Let's count. No, let's see. So we have 20 cells. So in other words, these cells here, they are all 20 cells that there are 20 cells that I selected. So let's look at the next function that counts blank. This one is count blank. In other words, these count blanks, let's see the definition we have here. So click count blank. Okay, you see count the number of empty cells in a specific range of cells. So you see, now let's see how it works. I'm selecting from cell B2. I'm selecting from cell B2 through C14. So let's see the number of empty cells we have. So I'll select this range through C14. So sorry, I got something wrong. Okay, see what I got wrong. I should open my bracket and select the range of cell C14. I think we are good here. So I'll now close my bracket. So now it's telling me that the number of cells from B2 to B14 The number of cells empty, there are 6 cells. Let's have something here. We have, let's say I have Hodo. So you see the number of cells have reduced to 4. So let's say I delete something here. So it's counting it for me that these are the number of blank cells I have. So you can get it, and so on and so forth. The next function we're going to be looking at is the countif function. Countif, countif, countif. So let's see the definition Excel have for us. So I say count if. So we say countif, count the number of cells within a range that meets a given condition. Countif, count the number of cells within a range that meets a given condition. Let's have an example from the table we have here. Let's use this table as an example. Okay, so I'll just open my brackets. So let's have the range from range. Okay, so I'll give my comma. So what's the criteria? Samsung. Then I'll close the bracket. You see, so how many Samsung do we have in this table? So we have 4 Samsung in this table. It works like the sum if function. So most of the if function, they look for a given condition and do the do the command that you have given it to. It's like in this case where I say it should count. So let's count the number of Samsung in this list. So look at it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's counting Samsung as 4. We can still do auto for other phones. Can do for other phones the same way. So that is it. You can still also create it as a list the way we did in the sum if function. So you can still define something like this. Let's say equal to count if. Yeah, open my brackets. This is the range. I'll say comma. Then this is the criteria. Then I'll close my bracket. Now it's 0. Why is it 0? Because I'm not having anything in this cell D2. There's nothing here because this is what we define. It's not in here. So let's say I'll say Nokia here. So how many Nokia do we have here? We have 3. Let's look at 1, 2, 3. We have 3 Nokias here. So we count number of Nokias we have here. So that is it. We can still convert this one to a list from this table here. So I believe you can do that on your own. So the next function we're going to be looking at is the average function. The average function, average. This is the next function we are going to be looking at. And we are still going to use this table to get the average. Average, it returns the arithmetic mean of a given range. So a given range of numbers. Let's look at this. Now I have average. Let's see the definition Excel have for us. So now average returns the average arithmetic means of its arguments, which can be numbers or names, array or reference that contains numbers. Are you with me? So let's have the average. Okay, let's start from here. Let's have the average of these numbers equal to average, and I open the brackets. I'll just select this table because I need the average of this one. So I'll just select and close my bracket, and I'll say okay, this is the average of the numbers here. Average of these numbers here. Okay, this is the range of number. Okay, I'll stop here for average. So you can do other things with the same average, but I want us to look at the other function, which is this other function we have here, average if. So this is average if. it works same way like count if, sum if, and every other if function that you know. So look at this one. I want to count. Let's look at the condition. Let's count if let's get the average. If it's only Samsung, average of this number of Samsung we have here. So like as in other function, we can have the equal to, then type the average, then I'll open my brackets. So let's get the range average of Samsung, right? Okay, let's get the average from this table. Sorry, we're getting it wrong. This average if, forgive me, I'm bad. So this is the range. So now I'll save my comma. What I want to do, let me define a cell. I believe you can do other one, you can pick a particular one. So I'll just define a cell for our criteria. So I'll pick this D2 for our criteria. So I'll say comma, then I'll select the range. So get the average from this table. So I'll now close my bracket and I'll say enter. Now we are having no value. We are not having no value because div slash zero exclamation mark. So this error means that what we have, whatever we have here cannot be divided by zero. That's the meaning of this gibberish you have here. So now we are not looking at anything, but why? Because we have not defined any of these products here. What about if I define something like techno? So the average of the number of techno we have here is 11 because we have only one techno. So let's change this one. Let's say techno. So the average we have here is 39. Let's see if we get it correctly. So how many techno do we have? Number of techno. So we have, let's sum techno. 11, 11, and 11. What else do we have? 11 and 67. So we have 72. So let's divide 72 by 2. Abi we have 2 of it. So let's do it like this, equal to 78. Sorry, 78 divided by 2. Still 39. So you see it. So that's the average of the techno we have. So you can change any other for, let's say, infinite. So you can get the average of infinite. So that is the average if function. Now the last function we are going to be looking at in this video is the Vlookup. Vlookup. I love this function because it makes life a whole lot easier for everybody. Now I'm going to be creating a simple list, a simple table for you to understand how this works. Use this table. Now if you look at it, this is the name, this is a row, contain the full detail of Cassidy Johnson. He's an American. The contact, he has overstayed, he has been related. The crime is overstaying, so he was nabbed for overstaying and in the state, so he has been released. So this is this thing. So VLOOKUP can help us get the whole detail of a particular row. Just pick, let's see the definition that Excel has for us. So I'll say equal to VLOOKUP. This is VLOOKUP. So now if you look at it, the definition, it says looks for a value in the leftmost corner of a table and then returns a value in a same row from a column you specify. Okay, let's see how it works. So I'll say now, I'll say I like making it bold, so I'll just make it bold. So let's have the first name Cassidy Johnson. Now I want to get the details. I want to know where Cassidy Johnson is from, his phone number, the crime he committed, and if he has been released or not. Whatever remark that the person has given there, I want to see everything. So I'll get it in this form here. Now, the VLOOKUP does that function. So let's see how it does it. So I'll say equal to VLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, then I open my brackets. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Cassidy Johnson. Then, comma, where? At where? In this table. The whole of this table array. This is where I'm looking for it. Okay. Whatever I'm looking for, where is it from? So, the column. So, I will look at the column it's coming from. So, I'm looking for, if this is column 1 that has name, then this one, nationality, is column 2. So, I will define it for 2. Then, I'll say comma. Then now I'll say either true or false. True is the approximate value, the approximate correctness. Then false is the exact value. So I will use false. I need the exact value, so I'll say false. So I'll close it and press enter. So it's an American. So I've been able to fetch this value from this, this value from this table with the help of VLOOKUP. So I'll do same thing for contact. So let me fetch his contact. The same way, you can pause the video. And do yours. So I said VLOOKUP. Then I'll open my brackets. Where am I looking for? Who are this table? This person, this particular person. Then comma. From where am I looking for it? This same table. Then comma. Then which column? The contact column, which is 1, 2, 3. That's number 3. So column, I want it to be the exact match, so I say false. So I close it. So I now have his number. Then you do the same thing for crime. So it right. So we're just going to do the same thing for remark. VLOOKUP, then you get the same name, then comma, select your table array, and select the index. So I'll select the last index, which is the remark. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll say 5. Then I'll say comma, then say false. And I'll close it. So you see, I have been able to get the details for Cassidy Johnson. So what about if we have another name? Let's see, Olivia Keller. So let's see. So you see, we have been able to fetch the whole detail. You can as well create your drop down list here so that you can fetch it. Like you remember, we created our drop down list, an easy one for us. So we created a list with from this table. So we created a list from here, right? Sorry. So this is my list, and I'm okay. So I'll say okay. So this is my list here. So I can pick any of the name from this list and get the details automatically. So any name. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you like the video. Please, if you like my video, stay connected to the channel by subscribing. Turn on the notification bell because I'll be having more videos for you.